All right, The Return, Hisham Matar. I love this book so much. I read it, I guess, 3 years ago, and I found it because it won the Pulitzer Prize. I was sort of on a kick of uh, reading Pulitzer Prize winners. Hard to go wrong with a book that won the Pulitzer Prize. It's a memoir by a guy from Libya. And he had left Libya. He was living in England when he was 19, and his father was still in Libya and was kidnapped by the Gaddafi regime back in the, I guess, late 80s, early 90s. And he never saw his father again. He never saw his father again. And for years, he tried to understand what had happened to his dad. He returned to Libya multiple times and tried to understand where his father had gone, what prison he had ended up in. He eventually figures that he was probably executed in a certain event in 1995. But the book is him returning to his homeland after many years away and just trying to understand what had happened to his father and processing his grief, both for his father and for his country. I felt like I got to know Libya so well from this book. And I'll share a quick story before I jump into my two favorite excerpts from the book. I was at a party sometime a couple years ago in Santa Monica here, and just having one of those conversations where you're just not feeling it, talking to some people who I just didn't care to be talking to and was very disinterested and sort of disillusioned with how the night was going. And I decided to leave. I took an Uber earlier than expected, hop in the Uber. Sure enough, the driver was from Libya. He had actually been living in Benghazi until 2 years before that moment and had moved to America. And I had just finished this book, and we just launched into this unforgettable conversation about Libya and the war, and how him and his brother had been fighting the terrorists who were in Libya, and how he'd gotten away and managed to make it to the U.S. And one of the conversations where it wasn't a far drive, got to my house, and I stayed and talked to him for probably 10 more minutes, just sitting in the car. Neither of us wanted to end the conversation early, and it just felt so enriching in the exact opposite way of that initial conversation I'd been having at the party that was so impoverished. And I just thought, yes, this is what the stuff I want my life to be filled with, is incredible, exciting, powerful, profound conversations about Libya, rather than hearing some 24-year-old bitch and moan about something that happened to them at work. So with that, I want to share my two favorite excerpts. They're a bit longer, but extended excerpts from The Return by Hisham Matar. Yeah, let's jump into it. The body of my father is gone, but his place is here and occupied that something that cannot just be called memory. It is alive and current. How could the complexities of being, the mechanics of our anatomy, the intelligence of our biology, and the endless firmament of our interiority, the thoughts and the questions and yearnings and hopes and hunger and desire, and the 1,001 contradictions that inhabit us at any given moment, ever have an ending that could be marked by a date on a calendar? Hasn't it always seemed this way? Haven't I always detected the confusion of funerals, the uncertainty of cemeteries, the bewilderment of a headstone? Second excerpt, he's talking more about grief and the grief he's feeling towards losing his dad. And he says, grief is part of one's initiation into death, and I don't know why, I have no way of justifying it, but it is a hopeful part at that. The natural alignment of the heart remains towards the light. I have never understood this, not intellectually anyway. But it is somehow in the body, in the physical knowledge of the eternity of each moment, in the expansive nature of time and space, that declarative statements such as "he is dead" are not precise. My father is both dead and alive. I do not have a grammar for him. He is in the past, present, and future. Those two lines in particular have not left me, and just the feeling I had from reading this book. I tweeted this once, just that certain books move you so profoundly that you feel them, and you can still feel them long after you've read them. And this one certainly makes my short list. I feel like I got to know the country of Libya so well, and just through the lens of this son's searching and grief for his father. So really recommend The Return by Hisham Matar. It's impacted how I think about death I've encountered in my own life, of family members I've lost. It's a really, really powerful book, and can't say enough good things about it.